Long, long ago, when I was a small boy, my grandmother used to bring me out here. She introduced me to the sea and placed deep within me the belief that all of life's mysteries are contained in a silver box lying out there somewhere, far beneath the waves. My grandmother told me that the waves would never stop moving against the shore until someone someday discovers the box. And on calm summer mornings when the sea appeared before the sun did, she would walk me solemnly to tidal pools, where I would be permitted to discover for myself, in her words, some of the smaller magics. My name is Gary Hughes MacArthur. For whatever it's worth, in 2 more hurricane seasons, I'll be 70. I've spent so much time hauling my ass around these rocks and sand and sea that frequently I have the illusion that it's all mine. During those moments, I try to remind myself of Robert Frost's lines, "The sun and moon get crossed, but they never touch." If I'm in a cantankerous mood, as I infrequently am, I might just argue with myself as to who actually owns the words of a poet. But I'm not a poet, and I don't think of myself as a businessman. Thanks to luck, pluck, and a strange alignment of fates, I've got presiding interest and control over several major industries. At the risk of contradicting myself, I could say that I own these industries. But I prefer to define myself as a temporary caretaker who happens to be the highest paid of the hired help. The basis of my empire is insurance. My love of kids seemed to overwhelm any other interests, and my thoughts about them led me early in life to insurance so that they would be taken care of. And my ideas on parenting were formed as I went through the process with my long-dead wife. And I found if one treats children like people, there are very few problems. Right now, I happen to have a grandson who leads me to other children with whom I enjoy learning. We learn together, which is the only way to learn. And sometimes he leads me to higher and broader experiences. The shapes of change take their time. Aye, they take their time, moving hidden and deep, asking what the dawn asks, giving the answers evening gives, letting one tomorrow and another go by till tomorrow comes saying, we are born of the yesterdays, and our unseen children wait to be born. Where 1,000 years is a clock tick, where 100 years is a split second, where 1,000,000 miles is a moment of light. The shapes go on working change, the same as forms once sea-hidden crept to the land to become landforms, creeping in sun and rain, huddled in drizzle and fog, rising in mist and rainbow, forgetful of time long or time too long, murmuring in a music of mud and stars. We are born of the yesterdays, and our unseen children wait to be born. Take your time. We have all the time there is. Where change tugs, feeds, grows, where the yet-to-be-born clutches and gropes in the folds of a womb ever weaving, this tells only there is to be a child, a shape beyond all guess and fathoming. Time and a womb of time tell only the child will have a face when it comes, and a name given the begotten face. How could the Stone Age, once born and given a name, see the Iron Age on the way to being born? How could man, carving the first wheel, see the later labyrinths of steel and brass wheels moving interlocked in a spun fabric of wheels? How could the hairy Mesopotamian kings, the hard-riding Persians, Jews, Greeks, read it in the stars they were on their way out? And read, too, the next shapes of change to come. Came the Romans, and they did business. Likewise, Moslems on horses, Vikings on ships, barbarian strong arms riding wild horses, saying to women or girls wanted, hauled to the saddles by the hair, you belong to us by the right of capture. On their way to nowhere in the womb of time, the Dark Ages given one name, Renaissance another, Magna Carta, Westphalia, Augsburg, names throwing shadows striped red and purple, America, France, Russia, shaken with tramplings, declarations fire-born and sky-flaring, documents baptized and blood-dripping, children in shapes, flags, and forms, new names, tomorrow breaking silence with fresh answers and the old question hard and weather-worn. Where to now? What next? How could Gutenberg or Caxton foretell trucks hauling 1,000,000 newspapers, roaring their banner headlines and the desperate proverb, nothing is so dead as yesterday's newspaper? Ever the prophets are a dime a dozen. Man goes on a moon shooter, forgetful of time long or time too long, letting tomorrow come wool-shod, making the noise a shadow makes, then a name given its face. Machine age given a name, went weaving into power age, another name. Mass production, supermarkets, more names. Electrodynamics holding its own till the cry atomic flashed worldwide. And global war, no careless bastard name, each a child weaving in a time-hidden womb when it came saying, now I am here, then having a face and a name. The hammers of man from stone to steel, the fire of man from pine flare to blowtorch, the lights of man from burnt wood to flash bulb, clue readings of man from hill bonfire to radar shadings. The fights of man from club and sling to the pink mushroom of Hiroshima. The words of men from spoken syllables to rushing rivers of books begetting books, to speech and image transmissions, crowding the day and the night air for the looking and listening family of man. The tools of man ever foretelling tools of new faces to be given new names. Ever the prophets are a dime a dozen, and man goes on a moon shooter. The shapes of change, aye, they take their time, asking what the dawn asks, giving the answers evening gives, till tomorrow moves in, saying to man the moon shooter, now I am here. Now read me. Give me a name.